The saga continues. Bert the Blurt May, aka Bungalow, still on YouTube talking about fights that you're never gonna have. Bert, you're the biggest sausage to ever grace this platform. You might forget what you said 5 minutes ago, but the internet never forgets. We've all noticed your silence after Craig exposed you for writing letters to yourself and Danny's employer.
Right, 3 hours ago, Brett May put this video out.
I've worked out the address, so I'll put my hand over it now.
Doesn't appear to have been franked on its way through the post office. So then if you look at the letter, I noticed straight away that when somebody's written on the page above it, that's obviously been ripped out, they pressed on a little bit too hard. So we used Photoshop to invert the image to see what it says. And after zooming in, these are the words that we can make out as to what the page before it said.
We've all noticed you stayed silent after Venice said he'd spar you and offered to fight you this Saturday, let you film it and keep all the pay-per-view.
Even now, like when I know that, like, you are full of shit. My proposal to you is, I don't want you to fight Bash Saturday, so I will turn up and I'll fight you Saturday. You set a pay-per-view link up now, set a PP...
Pick up a penguin.
Pingu the penguin. PPV up now. You have every single penny. My prize is, I get to smack you in the mouth.
We've all noticed you've been offering out smaller men, saying you'll put on some MMA gloves, go to a gym and have it out with Bash and Jimmy Miller. But you didn't have that same energy when Christie pulled up in your hometown. You hid behind the excuse of getting recalled. We've all noticed you're as thick as mince, and now you got your tongue wedged up Heggy's hoop, the sex offender you came out of prison and pretended to have beat up. We've all noticed now your own family hiding in videos because they're embarrassed to be seen with you. Hey, you might remember I found this bummer on the floor the other week. Yeah, it did belong to Brett, but it's got a new owner now. Here he is. We've all noticed that the only plank who wants to be associated with you is that boring, dopey, uncharismatic, begging Brummy who fell out of Craig's hoop, slipped up into Deckers for a bit, called out, and is now hanging off your nutsack. JDP. I think it's an abbreviation for Jake Doesn't Poo, the Poundland Pablo. He looks like a constipated rabbit with all the charisma of a dried up turd. We all know JDP's been watching this corner for a long time before he claims to have. He had dreams of becoming a new fighting trolls, and he used Video Craig to worm his way into the corner and get his first 1K subscribers. But being so see-through, you failed miserably. I'd imagine once your kids become more aware of what you're doing online, instead of working and earning an honest wage, they'll be seriously embarrassed, especially once they read a few comments and realise their dad's known for being a total helmet on the internet, simping over fighting men or so-called fighting men, and willing to embarrass and bring shame on the family name for a measly £2.16 a month in YouTube revenue. You'll probably delete all your videos by that time, but Jakey, as I've said to Bungalow Brett, the internet never forgets. Anyway, that's JDP. Don't bother checking him out. He brings nothing to the table whatsoever. Back to Blurt May, the type of guy to pull out of a hand job. As I was saying, we all know you're a massive shithouse. Now you're threatening Craig by sending his own address to him. He's not like you, Brett. Sure, he knows where he lives. Craig's never come online and said he's a fighting man or he's going to doorstep anyone. He just takes the piss out of you muppets that do. Yet you're quick to make your little threats to Craig, but when Danny embarrassed you in front of hundreds of thousands, where was that energy, big man? You might have convinced yourself fighting the alcoholic Bash and threatening to beat up comedians makes you look well hard, but like that sausage, you see through. Coward of a man. Bert the Blurt Bungalow, Brett May, shithouse, bully boy. And here's a little reminder, this is what Decker thinks of you.
Brett May goes around calling people P's and N's and deflecting his own abusive ways to women. Google Brett May's name, right? He battered a man and a woman. He killed a little girl in a hit and run, okay? People forget this, all right? He's had numerous allegations of rape himself, okay? And you're going to hear Brett May say, he said that the prison thing was all for the views, being all nicey on the phone because he's a shithouse.
You keep befriending them sex offenders, Brett. We'll never forget. You can beat up Bash, you can bash up Craig. You ain't getting no credit. This pay-per-view shit and the BKFC, forget it.
Fat boy over in Doncaster Waters, this is my reply to you. If you want to gain an ounce of respect back on this YouTube, then you need to come and meet me.